Hello everyone and welcome to Discovery Club. Discovery Club is Moreno Valley Public Library's newest virtual program. Every week at Discovery Club, we will be doing an activity, a demonstration, or an experiment together. This week, we are going to be making a liquid rainbow, and we're going to be stacking different density liquids on top of each other to create a rainbow. So let's start by learning a little bit more about density, and then we can do our experiment together. The science secret for today's experiment is density. Density is a measure of how much mass is contained in a given unit volume. Density equals mass divided by volume. If mass is a measure of how much stuff there is in an object or liquid, density is a measure of how tightly that stuff is packed together. Based on this density equation, density equals mass divided by volume, if the weight, or mass, of something increases but the volume stays the same, then the density has to go up. Likewise, if the mass decreases but the volume stays the same, then the density has to go down. Lighter liquids like water or rubbing alcohol are less dense and have less stuff packed into them than heavier liquids like corn syrup or honey. Every liquid has a density number associated with it. Water, for example, has a density of 1 gram per centimeter cubed. Another way to say this is gram per milliliter. Here are the densities of the liquids that we're going to use in this experiment. So rubbing alcohol has a density of 0.79 grams per milliliter. Vegetable oil has a density of 0.92 grams per milliliter. Dish soap has a density of 1.06 grams per milliliter, and honey has a density of 1.42 grams per milliliter. So, based on the numbers, can you guess if rubbing alcohol will sink below water or stay above it? How about dish soap and honey? Remember, the higher the density, the further down your liquid will sit. Now, let's test it out. We're going to start with the most dense liquid, which is honey. So my honey's in a jar, you might have yours in a bottle, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to use. So you want to pour a bit of honey, as much as you want in your level. You could even pour this one straight in because it's the first one. So you want to pour your honey, and then we're going to mix the color in. So I'm going to pour probably about 1/8 of a cup. And then we're just going to mix our colors in there. So we want the bottom of the rainbow to be purple. So you might know that if we mix blue and red, we're going to get purple. Move this out of the way. So you just want to put a couple dots of blue and a couple dots of red, and you can always go back and change the color and add a little bit more blue or a little bit more red. So I'm going to start with 3 of each. I think I might extra. A little extra bit of red there, but that's okay. So I'm just going to mix that in. I have a black container that I'm mixing it in, so it's a little bit hard to tell what color it is, but I can just kind of pull it up like this and see that color. And then I'm just going to pour it into my container. And if I want any more, then I can just make more, especially on this bottom layer. And I've got these spoons to mix, and I'm just going to put that spoon there so I don't make too much of a mess. And then you just want to pour it in, and you should have a layer of purple honey at the bottom. So I might end up doing a little bit more because my layer's a little bit thin and I want to be able to see it. Okay, so I'm done with my honey layer, and now I just want to move on to my dish soap layer. And I already made a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. So the next color we're going to do is blue. So we're going to mix dish soap with blue. So I'm going to get a new container, and then I'm going to pour in my dish soap, and I want to try to make it blue. I've got orange dish soap, so it might not end up quite blue, but that's okay. And you can do this rainbow in whatever order you want, because you don't have to do it in a traditional rainbow order, but if you want to, then just follow along with the colors I'm going to do. So I need a new spoon for mixing and a new towel to put my spoon on. I'm just going to mix that in. I'm getting a pretty good blue color. Okay, once it's all mixed, you're just going to pour it a little bit slowly into your clear container. And the layers are staying separate because they have different densities. Alright, our next layer is going to be water. So this one is just water, and our next color is going to be green. So I actually have green food coloring, but if you don't, you can use blue and yellow. And I'm just going to pour it directly into my water bottle because I was just using this as an empty water bottle and filled it up with tap water. So I can just shake it in here, get a nice green color, and then pour it in. Pour it in a little bit slowly. Okay, so our next layer is vegetable oil. So you just want to mix vegetable oil, and we're going to do a yellow color. And our last step is rubbing alcohol, and it's going to be red. So this one mixed together a little bit, but you can see the layers separating all the way down. And if you look closely, you can see that they're trying to mix and then they won't because they're different densities. So they're actually separating themselves out. The blue and green and purple got a little mixed together because they were too similar of colors. So if you want to do like a dark color and then yellow and then another dark color and then yellow, then you might be able to see the layers a little bit better. But just make sure you're pouring them in nice and slow so that you're able to see that layer difference. Thank you all for joining me at Discovery Club. I hope you learned a little bit more about density, and I hope you had fun creating your liquid rainbow. We'll see you next time. Bye!